I was willing to put in the extra work.
Sure enough, it hits my bat.
They do it the right way. They don't take shortcuts. They don't make excuses.
The glamorous part of the game, Sammy, as you know, is winning championships.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hey Bucket Live. I'm your host, Sammy Glantz, and this week we have on a very special guest, UCLA head coach, Coach I. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
What is the Bruin culture like? How would you describe your program at UCLA?
Yeah. I mean, I think our philosophy is very, very simple, and it keeps our priorities straight. So we say that in order to be successful, we got to keep our priorities straight, and it's family first. So our family and faith is important. We come from all over the place, but we come together and we really understand how we're going to work together on the field and off, and then how we continue to represent for the rest of your life means we're family. You're going to come back. This is not just a softball experience, and that's number one. So it's the people and it's the relationships. School is number two, and we take a lot of pride in the academics and the degree, knowing that it's a very reputable degree that's not just talking about softball. It's talking about, some really high achieving students from all over the world that come to compete to get into UCLA. So there's a great deal of pride in school and the competition in the classroom as well. And softball's third. So it's family, school, softball. Softball is what we love to do. So if we keep our priorities straight and we take care of each other and we all understand how we'll work together, obviously school is a priority and it's important. Then we come together and we get to just have fun on our playground and play great softball. And when we're doing that well and we're keeping it straight, then it's a very healthy culture. It's a very enjoyable, a lot of energy, a lot of there's emotion. Things get hard, but we go through things together. But that's what I love is there's nothing that's too hard. In fact, we embrace when things are hard because that means it's a challenge. And I recruit those types of athletes, student athletes that love the harder path, because there's always an easier path. You could go someplace and there's nothing against anyone else, but to compare the athletic academic challenges at UCLA is something we take a lot of pride in. So you got to have a healthy culture because there's days where it's really overwhelming, and their ability to communicate and come up to the field and really rely on their sisters and us as family members to be able to get through those days is what college athletics is really all about.
That's so incredible, because I feel like kids, they're like, okay, well, maybe if I, run more, stretch more, throw more, I'll get noticed, but those are all things that you just mentioned are controllables, and it's all about
Absolutely.
effort and attitude. And
Yep.
that's super cool that, that's at the core.
Yeah.
How would you describe your coaching style? I'm sure it's evolved over the years as you've been, going through this, but what about right now? Like, how would you describe yourself?
For me, my big focus, first of all, is the process. As a player, as a coach, you could always get caught up in outcome. Like, we need to win and we need to have perfect defense and we need to get hits and we need to throw strikes, which is definitely a big part of success, but it's the process of the things that you learn along the way. My job is to get our team to be their best when their best is needed. And there's critical moments. And with that, I say things like there is no failure. There's no failure unless you're failing to learn. So if we say things like, if we're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, that's insanity. So, that's literally the definition of insanity. So we're focusing on the process to be our best at the end. And that helps our athletes free up to go for it instead of just striving to be perfect and possibly holding back or going, not wanting to risk. We want them to push the envelope. We want them to hustle and see if they can take that extra bag. We want them to be aggressive at the plate. We want them to pound the zone and learn. And by the time we get, go through a full season, then we have more experience of how to manage situations or things that you realize maybe not in that situation. So there is no failure. There is the process of truly getting to be your best and courageous and go for it at the end. And you can only do that if you're in a place, in an environment that is embracing that process. It's a learning environment. It's not success and failure. So that's one, is really the process. And then the other part is I'm really here in the bigger picture. I'm really growing our student athletes, to be strong, powerful females later in life. So being a better version of themselves constantly is something that we really focus on. And that takes time. So I have them journal a lot. I can come up with speeches and quotes and so many different things as a coach. And it is my job is to provide different ways to communicate, but I have them journal a lot because the most powerful voice that they will always have is their own. And being able to set goals and be committed to it and understand what it's going to take and then check back in. Did I do it? Did I not? Without even me checking on them. It's those conversations that you have with yourself, especially as a female that is naturally really critical of ourselves. I have them journal a lot about what makes them great, or if they're feeling good, write it down. What are you saying to yourself? What are the things that you're feeling? So it's growing the individual to have those honest conversations, to set a high standard, really create a process of how you're going to attain it, and then check back in to see if you did. And if not, figure out a different way to get after it. But it's growing them, not just leading and don't follow me. Figure out how to continuously be a better version of yourself. And that's something that we really focus on. I use the analogy of a diamond in the rough. They come in already standing out as a piece of coal, but through extreme heat and pressure. And that's what this experience is academically, athletically, socially. There's a lot of, high expectations. And if you go through that and you continue to move forward, then what you become at the end is that really, priceless diamond. And they're all different. So we use that analogy constantly because we embrace the hard. Push, challenge, constantly raise the standard, grow as an individual, and get out there in the real world and say, bring it on. I am good at this. I'm working on this. And you want me on your team because I know how to be successful. If I can get that in their 4 to 5 years, then we've succeeded. And everyone goes at a different rate. But that's what I love about coaching is I'm growing the individuals more so than just focusing on a backhand or a good swing or throwing a strike.
We had the opportunity to speak to Sean Corals with Ohana Softball, and we got to bring up the incredible moment for Malia when she hit the pinch hit home run in the postseason. And just take us through that moment, but also the fact that you were able to put her in that position to succeed as a coach, and just to see her pull through for her teammates. I get the chills every single time I think about that moment.
I mean, those are coach and player and fans' dreams, is to see those big moments. And, what I could say first, backing up about Malia Corals, which is another part of this job, is, Malia literally was one of the most feared hitters in travel ball. I mean, she hit some balls. I still can't believe she hit the ball as hard as she did. And I've seen her come through in the clutch, and I've seen her come through in big moments in travel ball. And when she got to UCLA, she was the same. She was this big feared hitter, yet she was challenged with injuries. So that part of it, that's difficult when there's expectations of what you should be, but yet you're limited because you have physical, injuries that get in your way. I mean, that's tough. So preparing Malia for a moment instead of having the luxury of having the consistency was something that also taught everybody around her how to really embrace a role and do whatever you can for your team. And that was such a powerful moment because everyone saw her go through injuries. They saw her put whatever work she could in. They saw her train and be patient and be a good teammate, knowing she wanted to be out there every day. But I was telling her, I'm like, there's going to be a moment. There's going to be a moment. We're going to prepare for it, and it's going to happen, and you're going to come through in the biggest moment. So we created this energy about it. So when that actually happened, it was, I mean, I knew she was prepared. I knew she was capable. I think she was a weapon that we had on the bench, and to pull her out in the biggest moment against, a rival of ours in Arizona and see what she did was like, those are those moments as a coach. I mean, I was emotional. I don't think there's moments of just excitement, but that was one of the biggest. I literally think I ran to go pick her up off the field when she came across, because it was a moment we'll never forget. Just tons of emotion. I was sitting next to Aaliyah Jordan, and we were kind of talking about it, and she's like, she's going to hit it out. Aaliyah was, and I said, oh my God, if she does, Aaliyah, I'm losing it. And she swung on the next pitch, and I literally grabbed Aaliyah and I pushed her on. We were laughing because I pushed her on the field, and we were crazy out of our minds. And she came around, the whole team went psycho. And it was not even just the home run was awesome, but it was Malia Corals, who is such an amazing teammate, who had struggled, who had prepared for a moment to help her team. And she did it on the biggest stage in the biggest moment, which made everybody we were a mess. It was awesome. But once again, when you talk about culture, everybody brings value, and it may not all come and look exactly the same. Everyone wants to be the shortstop, 3 spot, be the superstar Rachel Garcia. But it's moments like that Malia helped Rachel Garcia win a championship and win the Honda Cup by being on the stage. So yeah. Do I have any thoughts about it? Yeah, it was 100% one of the greatest points in UCLA softball.
Oh my gosh, that is so incredible, and just being able to listen to your
Oh,
side of it, because I
oh,
got
so
to I
fun.
got to hear it from Malia's dad's perspective, and I was like about to cry because like I don't think he was at the game, so I think he had to watch it on FaceTime.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
oh my gosh,
unreal.
just absolute
Unreal.
chills.
Yes. A
Yeah,
lot of people, a
absolute
lot of
chills.
tears, a lot of emotion. Yes.
Oh my
Super, super
God.
fun.
So, well, thank you so much for all of your time today. But before we let you go, this is a little Hey Bucket special, but 3 speed round questions for you, and then that's
Bring it.
it. All right. You kind of just touched on it, but who was your idol growing up?
Well, you know what? My parents, this sounds like a generic answer, but my parents forced me to do so many things out of my comfort zone. I just was very quiet and very, very antisocial. And my parents pushed me to do everything. So without their push, I would have never gotten into athletics because it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. So I remember how it felt to be pushed and join the team and feeling like not comfortable and then getting to a point where I really would sprint to the field because I really just enjoyed it. So my parents that pushed me out of my comfort zone constantly and have also supported me, you know, throughout everything that I do in life are my biggest mentors, role models, and I love them dearly.
I love that. All right. If you're not at the baseball or softball field, where can we find you?
If I'm not at the baseball or softball field, then I would hope you would find me in Hawaii. That's where I
Yes.
mean, yes. If I have some downtime, straight to the island at the beach, no watch, but just there snorkeling all day long with my kids and my husband.
That sounds like the best day ever. I need to get there. All right. Are you superstitious? Do you have any like pregame rituals or anything that you have to do before the game?
Um, well, if I were to let's see, superstitions. I believe in karma, and I believe good things happen for a reason. So I would say there's certain things that we always have. I know this is terrible, but I have gum always, and we're not supposed to chew it on TV, but I always have. I, I always have gum. That's kind of, and the girls get it from me all the time. I would say that and my parka are probably the two biggest things that are a constant for me everywhere I go. And yes, people talk all the time like, you're seriously wearing that? The answer is yes. There's no shame in my game. When I get cold, my parka, as long as I have that, I'm good to go.
I do remember the signature parka. That is your thing. I didn't realize that was like a superstition thing, but that is so cool.
I mean, I lost one once because I took it to Arizona, and the girls were like, "You're seriously taking that to Arizona?" And I said, "You never know. At night, it could get cold, right?" Well,
Uh-huh.
it was so hot when we went there. I left it on the plane, and they were all dying laughing. They're like, "You left it because you didn't need it." And I said, "If I didn't need it on the field, I still could have used it as a pillow. Hello, it does both, right?" But no, my parka is something. And now that we switched over to Nike, I've got to get a new. I've got to find a new parka, but I just don't like being cold. So I think in the bigger picture, yes, my warm jacket is something that is big for me. Sounds silly.
The the Coach I signature parka. I love it. I love it. It's so good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today and, just provide so much insight into your incredible program. And it
Thank
was
you.
just a pleasure to be able to talk to you and just learn more about you. So thank you
Oh,
so much, and good luck to you and the Bruins this season.
absolutely. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. Take care and good luck to everybody out there.